Hello and more hello. So, we are back for another song. I have not done an introduction video for this band yet, but I've seen and heard this song before. And this is actually not even an original for them. This is a remake or a revision of an even older song. And the original doesn't really appeal to me, but this version speaks to me. So I've wanted to, for a while, cover this song. And I decided now was definitely the time. Now was the time. I saw it pop up in my YouTube feed again. And I'm like, oh yeah, that I definitely have to do. So here we are, covering Disturb's The Sound of Silence. Expect me to get a little bit emotional, at least. It usually happens when I hear this. All right. If you're ready. All right. I'm going to make some commentary right from the start. I know it hasn't even been 5 seconds yet, but all these instruments just lying here like it's a battlefield. That is some imagery right there. I think that's going to come back to us, but it feels very meaningful without, even any music yet. There's been basically silence so far. All right, let's go.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
All right, before his next line, man, I get like shivers when his voice comes in. It's a piano tune up until then. And the song really could just be him at a piano at this point. And when his voice comes in, all like deep and resonant. And, those shivers just go down your back. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say there. Anyways, let's get back to it.
I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its scenes while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone.
Okay, I had to stop just as we get the guitar to enter in. We have our, I guess you could say, third instrument if you include a voice as an instrument. And for him here, I'm definitely saying voice is an instrument. Yeah. Man, most Disturbed songs don't really, like, they showcase his voice, but not, like, the talent and the vocal range that he has. Here he definitely gets to show that range. Yeah. Also, I like the way that his voice just, like, swells right as the guitar part comes in. It's that slow building, but doing it while singing, I think it hits me even harder because of that. All right, back to it.
Narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp, I turn my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw.
Okay. We just had him, like, he's been doing those low, deep tones, and then here, his voice just expands to, like, take up the whole soundscape. At least that's the way it feels to me. You know, he had that little bit of a vocal swell earlier, where he brings out more of his voice, and then he does it again, but it, like, sonically just fills that space. There's still the piano playing, but the piano becomes, like, secondary to the voice. Also, we have that little visual with all the different musicians coming in, the guitar player, the drummer. I like the visuals as well. All right, back to it.
10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs that voices never share. And no one dares.
Okay. I know this is going to sound a little bit political, but those words, about songs that no one's going to sing, writing down words that no one is going to read. It hits a little harder right now when, just the other day, the U.S. military removed over 400 books from the Naval Academy because they didn't fit the narrative that the government adheres to currently. All of those books were ones talking about issues like racism. They left in all the white supremacist books, like even, like Hitler's Mein Kampf, but they took out books about like segregation and the plight of black slaves, just whitewashing the whole thing, because that's what they believe in. And that is very much what the whole song, even the original, talks about. But while the original definitely is like a warning, this version is like, it feels more like this is happening now. I mean, the song is not new. I think it's 9 years ago. But, we were already, even then, having a lot of, like, book burning things. Well, not burning per se, but they were taking books out of libraries. A lot of, like, censorship stuff that was coming up on a regular basis. This song feels more and more important the more time goes on. And, yeah, I definitely had to talk about that. Anyways, let's get back to it. Sorry.
Just turn the sun of silence. Fool said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words out of my height, teach you. Take my arms and of my height, reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence, and the people bowed and prayed.
Sorry, I had to pause. So 2 things. First, when I can get my voice under control. But first, his voice, man, that like shivery, skin crawling feeling of like fingertips up your back. That I get that every time he does this. His voice is just so massive in this piece. You might have seen my recent videos on the Kuda Coil, and a lot of those have like the vocals that are sitting like under the music. Well, under the like instrumental part of the music. Or like mixed right with it, so it's very hard to like piece out the different aspects. But man, this is a clear example of where the voice just sits over top of the music. Almost like it's overwhelming the instruments. I would love to see them do this live. Second, and the reason I was already getting a little bit emotional. This to me feels like a protest song. All these people suddenly showing up, holding, their music sheets, their lyrics. It feels totally like it's talking about the protests that have been going on as of late. As of when I'm recording this, one happened the weekend before, and another is happening next week. So, yeah, there's a definite message in the song, and it's that when, people try to silence you, you have to stand up. You can't be silent. And that's a very powerful concept that is also a very emotional one. All right, let's get back to it.
To the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out his warning, and the words that it was forming, and the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sound of silence.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there. But man, also the concept that the lyrics talked about too, with like the words being written on tenement halls and in subways, talking about how the way you'll get the message is through like graffiti. That is also a powerful statement that, they'll silence other forms of writing. So to express, the important things, they'll be written in public places, basically, and what will definitely be considered illegal ways. That's basically the way graffiti has always been treated. Uh, Unless someone asks for graffiti, which doesn't happen terribly often. But yeah, man. Uh, this song has like 3 stages to it. The first stage, the intro, it's very silent. It's got, you know, basically just silence, piano, and vocals. That is all there is to it. Stage 2 really starts with the introduction of the guitar part. And that sort of lays out the picture of what the song is about. And then the third part, that's where his voice just like takes over and the story grips you. And the instrumentals become like the emphasis to the music. We still have some nice silence parts in there. And they use silence a lot in this piece. I don't recall the original version doing that. But Disturbed's version definitely has a lot of silences in it. And they're used as like emphasis. The silence is kind of like a character in this. Talking about, basically oppression, because that's the best term for it. The silence is oppressive. It just staunches conversation. But that goes back into those 3 stages. The first stage, there's very little to counter the silence. So the vocals aren't very loud. They're almost like resonant whispers. And it's at stage 2 where like the voice starts to push back by, swelling and expanding to be more powerful. The guitar part comes in to help the vocals and the piano piece, expanding it and pushing back the silence even more. And I could paint some amazing visuals for this, because in my head it like paints a picture of the melody. Because in the third part, you have all the other instruments cut in. You have the drums that are added, the ba-dum. There's other parts in there that come in during the third part, but they expand, especially with the voice, and it just like pushes back the silence. And then they drop out and let you get back to like a moment of silence. But that's just like the reprieve before, in a moment, kind of like Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings movie, when the Balor demon, tries to catch everyone, and he just smacks his staff down, and a blaze of light just bursts forth. And just like that, in this, the music swells back, and it just pushes away the silence, filling the space. It is very powerful imagery. And I think they do that very much on purpose. All right. I think that's most of my commentary here. I will shut up for the moment. If you have comments, please leave those down below. If you've enjoyed, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Take care.